Yeah, and I'm talking about my grandson and myself. My wife, Sherry, could not be here. She has got some back issues, but going in the right direction, so we're glad for that. But she can't travel this far at one time right now. But we're glad to be here. Christmas last year, I got a call from, my wife and I got a call from our grandson, Tristan, who through the years has been with us to Africa. And graduated from high school. So he said, I want to work with Partners for Africa. And so we were so elated. So he is going to speak to you and tell a little bit about him, and he's going to show some of the slides, and then I will take over and finish the report. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just want to say thank y'all for welcoming us and letting us come here just to be with y'all and spend some time. And also want to say a personal thank you on helping support us in our work. We cannot do this work alone by ourselves. We need support and we need help. And I'm so thankful that that people like you are kind and generous enough to give some of the things that you've earned to help support us in our work. And it's just a beautiful picture when Christians work together to further the kingdom of God, and I just think that's awesome. So to speak on our work, we work in, I believe it's 6 countries. We work in Zimbabwe, which is the teacup-looking country. I know the lighting's not, it's a little hard to see it, but we work in Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, Lesotho, Swaziland, Zambia, and we're starting off working in Tanzania right now. We're going to go later this year on a campaign there to see what we can do there. This is the city of Cape Town, which we, last summer, I got to go on a campaign there, and we got to do some mission work and work with the churches and work with the inner cities. It is, I believe, the most beautiful place I've ever traveled. But there is, it's in the areas we work there's a lot of struggle and a lot of violence and stuff, but it's very encouraging to see the Christians there, that they're like, y'all shouldn't be here, so y'all should go, but we're going to keep doing the work here if y'all just give us the support. So it's very encouraging to see that. But yeah, so this is one of the things, and also with Cape Town, if any of y'all ever decide to come to Africa with us, this is one of the things, hopefully, that if you come with us, we'll get to go see. This is Victoria Falls. It's the biggest falls in the world. It's around 300 feet high and over a mile long. And it flows from the Zambezi River. And one thing, if you're an adventurous person and you come with us and you just really want to, you're an adrenaline seeker, if you look at that bridge, you can jump off the middle of it if you want. You can bungee jump. So, if you ever want to come and do that, we'll make it happen. Yeah. So this is a picture of me from, I guess I could say back in the day, just to show that I've been working with Partners for Africa for a while, so I know what I'm doing. So just, yeah. But there's just me petting a cheetah. And this is the school van to speak on, I guess, my role with Partners for Africa. I came on in January. I graduated high school, got a phenomenal job opportunity to work a secular job. Did that, everything that, they promised me, did well, but I found that it was better for me to do mission work and work for something eternal. So it's been awesome getting to come on since January and working with Partners for Africa. But since coming on, we've got to do new stuff and further our work with something like this. This is our van that we were able to buy and get for our school out at Amazon Christian, and with this van it now offers our students and faculty transportation to move between schools, to go play sports matches, and it's a huge blessing out there. I know sometimes when I think about, they have a van, like everyone has a van, everyone has a car. But for them out in the rural bush, they don't have access to things like these. So when we were able to gift them this was huge. And there's me with Haley in Progress out at the school, and we were able to give that to him, and it was a really cool moment. It was a great blessing. We got to be there with the kids, and everyone was really excited, and that was awesome. There's a picture of me with the kids out there, and we were all really excited and got to play a little soccer afterwards. There's some of the ministers there that we got to see on my last trip. It was a very productive trip, and to speak on the wells now is one thing we really focus on there because let me grab my phone. I have a couple statistics I'd like to share with y'all on wells water, the issue in Southern Africa, especially speaking to what has recently happened right now is so in Southern Africa, that whole area, they get rain from, I believe, or the rainy season is November to about March. And that's it. If they don't get rain, then they don't get anything. So 90% of rural Zimbabwe, which is, one of the main areas we work in, rely on agriculture for their food source, for their life source. So if they don't get rain, they don't get food. And one of the things that's recently happened is they had a drought this year. So it's been very tough, and we're looking to help try to feed around 45,000 brethren out there that are not going to have food this year. But the reason why I'm saying this and talking about wells at the same time is when you plant a well in a community, it gives people a life source. And if you plant a well somewhere, that gives them access to food, to drinking water, which I believe in a study in October 2022 in Southern and Western Africa, they put the populations together, and I think it was 381 million people lack access to good, clean water. And the population, I believe that the average lifespan out in those rural communities is you're looking at late 30s, early 40s, mainly because of waterborne diseases. So with these people not having access to clean water and not having access to a lot of it, it shortens their lifespan. But when you can plant a well, you can give them access to farming, potentially selling food so they can create a living for themselves, but also access just so that they can get enough to live for themselves and move forward. But with Partners for Africa, what we've done with our wells and with our helping with the waterworks is we've drilled 142, and daily around 400,000 people get access to our water. With that, over 31 churches have been planted, and the life expectancy goes up exponentially from where it originally would have been had there not been a well in that area. And to speak on this, it says education restored, and it's like, well, what does that mean? So what typically happens in Africa with the wells with water is the people who go get the water are the girls, not the, I guess you'd say women, but middle school to high school age girls, which means if they're getting an education, they're in school, no, because the family needs them to go get the water, so they don't get opportunity to be educated. Already in third world countries, women are not, it's a very patriarchal society, they already don't have a great chance of getting a job. However, if you take them out of school, that chance goes down to zero. And also, it's a skill that's the only skill that they can necessarily have in looking for a job, is that they know how to go walk and get water, whereas opposed to when you are able to dig a well, you put all these girls back in education and give them opportunity, which is huge, and it's a great blessing when we can do that or plant a well. So this is out at one of the schools, them celebrating just the well being planted, them having access to clean water. All the girls in that picture are extra excited because they realize I get a chance that a lot of people in a place like this regularly wouldn't. So this is Haley, and he was in a picture before, but he is he's our point man. He's our man on the ground. He is who we go through to get majority of our work done, and we couldn't do what we do without him. He went to school at Heritage Christian, where I'm going now, and he's just a point man for everything. Now, what he's holding in his hand, and what he's giving to that woman, is mealie meal. So with the people that we have to feed, this is the food we give them, because one bag of mealie meal can feed a family for a month. That's one meal, one day, for about a month, each person in the family, and they'll make a food called sudza out of it, and it's made out of cornmeal. So it's good, I like it, but I don't know that I would necessarily want to live on it for a month. But for them, it's all they have access to, and it's the best, most efficient way we've seen that has been able to help save lives and just get people access just to food, so they can just have something nutrient dense that they can keep on going. These are the pots and pans pots out at the schools that we use. And if we ever do any feedings or anything, this is the stuff that they cook the food in. And, they'll get a fire, they'll set these pots over it and just boil the water. And food's quite good out of them. I've had it quite a few times, and they do really well. You'd think you need that state-of-the-art stove to make good food, but you don't. You just need a fire and a pot. But what's cool, if you look at those shirts, it's an Indianapolis Colts shirt and Wilson High School. It's in my area, but I like to point that out just so people can realize that the stuff that we give really does go to use there, and those people really do get access to that stuff that people are giving. So yeah, this is a kid getting a meal, and one thing that was interesting when I was kind of preparing for this and going over this is I was thinking about just food, and for us, if we're going to go eat somewhere, we're going to eat anything, we're going to eat something we like that tastes good. However, when you think about that, to go back to that sudza or that mealie meal, that's a very bland food. And to them, food, taste is it's a privilege for them. If they ever get to have something that tastes different or just has flavor, it's just a mind-blowing thing, because it's like they might get to have that maybe a few times a year, whereas to us, it's essential that it does taste good for us to eat it. So I just thought it was cool to point that out, that kid, he's getting this meal, but he gets to have a mix of flavors and try and eat this thing that he probably hasn't ate for years. And also with that meal, that's one of our orphan feedings. It's potential that kid hasn't had a meal in a week or more. So when we give to feed these people, sometimes they don't have food for long periods of time. So it's really important, and it's great that we do give to that. And there's just another picture of a kid eating. And I will say, with the kids there, I know sometimes with just kids here, there'll still be a lot of food left on the plate, and they'll go and those plates are clean. Look like they went through the dishwasher type clean. This is a container. This is, okay.
Thanks. I don't know whether if the lights could be turned and give us a little more darkness, if that's possible. I don't know, but it might not make a difference. It might not. But anyway, so we have we have the Mom Project that T has told you about, feeding, making orphan meals. We feed. That's part of our good works. We also have the containers that we send. You have helped in that. Yes, that's helped some. Thank you. And so COVID slowed us down with the containers. There was backlog and all that sort of thing. But now we're starting to roll. In fact, we're going to ship 3 this year. In fact, one will go to the Caribbean, where my wife and I were missionaries years ago. This is container right here. It's arrived in the island of Dominica. And we're shipping one to Eswatini, which used to be Swaziland in Southern Africa, and also to Zimbabwe as well. So we're excited about that. As far as our good works, we are in full swing and doing this just as much as we can. One of the things that we put on containers is Bibles. And Apologetics Press, Carl Butts we're good friends. And he said, Dorian, can you use some Bibles? And of course, I've gone from him from time to time to ship thousands and thousands of textbooks, probably over 10,000 already of the textbooks. But we got 5,000 Bibles, 200 study Bibles, and we're picking up another 5,000 that we'll be distributing. And so, getting the word out and getting to put it in people's hands is just awesome. And their Bibles are quite amazing in the sense of the helps they have in them. And I know probably some of you are familiar with that. But the reason for that picture is those Bibles were given to a public high school, the teachers in a public high school in Dominica, who said they had never been given a Bible before. So isn't that something that they welcomed it, And one of the teachers said, well, I can begin my little scripture studies with my students because I have a Bible now. So this is the baptisms that we had now. When I come here every year, I remind you that what we are doing over there, you're a part of. This is a part of the work of this church. So when you see those, we don't know all the results because communication isn't what it would be. Once we're in heaven one day, we'll know. But this is what we do know. So you've helped that make that a reality. One of the things that's really grown in those stats you see is the 134 Bible studies that we have on a weekly basis. And when I say Bible studies, I'm not talking about individual house studies. I'm talking about a study at a house that has several families that come in there. So each one of those studies might have between 8 to 20 people in it, adults. So that's what I want you to know in several countries. And that serves as we bring campaigns in. We've got two campaigns this summer. We've already had one, TZ one, and then we're coming back to Tanzania later in the year. But that's not what does the greatest evangelism. The evangelism for people on the ground. And it's those home Bible studies that they are doing that's bringing about the planting of so many churches and the growth of so many. So anyway, we were glad to accomplish that last year and excited about what we're doing this year. You don't plant a lot of churches, you don't baptize a lot of people unless you've got a tremendous program going on as far as maturing people. You grab those babes that come out of the water, if the water's still dripping, you grab them right away and you plant them. I know they added to the body of Christ, but you've got to plant them and lock them in. And so that's what we do. And with all our good works, we can get them to help with that, get them into formal Bible studies. But you can't get them into formal Bible studies unless you've got trained men and women. And that's why we've got 32 leadership seminars last year, because we are training people all the time. We see in order to maintain our 79% retention, that you've got to have a maturing program. And those are all ministers just in the city of Bulawayo. And they are going through their bi-weekly study program. And we've planted 3 churches last year. We're by the end of this year we would have planted in 17 years 100 congregations. I see the wisdom of us doing our seminars bi-weekly in different countries, and one reason is these ministers come together and they share the challenges that they are having with their churches, all the good things that have happened. But what they do is they're helping each other and they stay connected because it's a regular thing, and it really blesses them, and we're thankful for that. It's not a great picture, but Shaq Arrington is a guy from Texas, and preacher from Texas. A tremendous command of the word, has come to Africa 26 times and has helped to mature a lot of those preachers. This is one of the gatherings we had at the school. I think we had about 600-700 there that day. It was just a wonderful time. Now I want you to know what we've built since we were here last time. When we were here last time, I showed you 3 classrooms. That's what we had done. And we had just completed our science lab. Okay? And so now it's a year has gone by. We've built that building, which is our sports building. It has showers and it also it has a big workout room, for our kids, and they'll do aerobics and they'll do weightlifting and all of that sort of thing. So we've got the outside done. And then we added a brand new classroom wing. And that classroom wing is 2 classes, just like the rest of our classroom wing, has 2 classes, and one is going to be a computer lab. Now, a rural school in a very poor area of Africa has a science lab and will have a computer lab. I mean, it's just quite amazing. Quite amazing. And you know, we planted that school. There is no other secondary or high school in that area. And so right now we are just so glad that we got all these children coming and are able to teach them the Word of God, but to be excellent not only in sharing Jesus, but to pursue excellence in education and make a person special. That was our campus when I showed you last year. And then we've added those 2 more buildings, and we're working right now on a massive pavilion. A pavilion, when I say massive, it's big enough to have a full basketball court plus an apron around it, and it'll basically be, it'll be a slab, and then it'll have a roof on it. It won't have walls, but it'll be a pavilion, and we will have our assemblies there. The church that we planted there has outgrown their thatch building that we built, so they will meet there, and it'll be a multi-purpose facility. So we're moving right ahead. That family right there, Haley showed you a picture of, Tristan showed you a picture of Haley. Well, that's his wife. You can see she's draped in graduation robes because she just got her master's in chemical engineering, and she now is she's now running our school for us. She is with another guy who is deputy head, and so we are thankful. And she's already accepted into the PhD program, and I don't think she'll have that under her belt not too long. This is our students at the school, and they were so happy to get the van. I want to show you these 2 students because we have decided as of last year to give scholarships, but scholarships only for those that are, what can I say, show their prowess in wanting to know the Word of God. So these are our top Bible students. And because they are top Bible students, the next term they get free. That's the scholarship. And we already had 2, and this is another 2. So we want them to know what is the most important, that they know Jesus, that they know what Jesus wants, and they develop a relationship with Him. And by the way, I just want you to know the first year, our school is into its 3rd year. Our first year, we had no baptisms because we were absolutely new. The community was glad to have a secondary school there because the government doesn't have one. But they started listening, observing. Some of them started coming to church. Some of them, we have a clinic. And at that clinic, some of their babies were born there, and we taught them. And boy, but this last year, they have come to the Lord. And we are thankful. Because, by the way, that's what that school is. We in all these countries, and we're doing campaigns, and we leadership, and we evangelizing, and we're doing good works. Yes, but this school, which Lord willing, eventually will have a university, is an evangelistic tool for Southern Africa. Because students, once we get boarders after our graduating class, and we start bringing boarders in from other countries, then they're going to go back. Especially if they stay during their 4 years of high school and stay for their 4 years of university. So it's something in Southern Africa that the Churches of Christ does not have. Got some schools. We helping with a school in Cape Town, but we don't have a high school university set up. And that's what if the Lord tarries and gives me life, that's what I want to see begin. And we are well on our way. Okay, so I don't know verbally how to express to you how bad it is in Southern Africa right now. If you go Google it, here is the here is the map of Africa. We work Southern Africa, okay? We work Southern Africa. El Nino sat just above Southern Africa during the rainy season. And they got literally, well, I wouldn't say literally, but I mean they got almost a negligible rain. And it's terrible. They planted their crops like they usually do, and nothing. We have, T mentioned 25,000 Christians in Zimbabwe, another 20,000 in Zambia, that within the next couple of months are going to starve to death, a lot of them. They are going to, because the governments don't have the resources to keep them alive. So what we want to do is as much as we can do. And so let me just tell you, where this is one congregation in Zimbabwe, what they're doing right now. They're going down to a dry river bed and they dig in water. And you look at that water. And that's why life expectancy in many areas is in their 30s, because that's filthy water. And so we're trying to feed now, okay? We're trying to feed them. And so there's our situation. Rain doesn't come till October. As T mentioned, rain comes in October, it ends in April or March, usually March, and then they're done. So until October, it's dire. And so how do you deal with drought? Well, it's a two-pronged attack. One is you try to help the immediate need while you are helping to drill wells. Because once you drill a well, we've got 400,000 people that said they come get water every day at our wells, that we don't have to worry about them in the drought. They would have had to worry years ago, that's for sure. And they've had people pass away for sure, but not now. So you feed them, but there are some wells that we have to drill. So I guess what I am asking you all, I know you got a tight budget, and I mean you do so many good things. You've already given us a special offering besides your help. But I am from now until October comes, I'm going to ask churches if they would give towards this drought in some way, some sort of special offering, an individual that might want to do a well or whatever that you can do. Because I want you to know we've got volunteers on the ground, we've got transport. All we need is the money. We've got access to food, and we can get it out to them, and we've got the drilling rigs set up to drill for water. And so that's the answer in Africa. You got a drought, get water there. And that's what we can do. The picture on the right is a well that we just finished. And actually it's for the school area and for the community there. But I wanted you to see the terrain. We had to travel you know how far the well is away from, it's 1 mile away, and we had to dig through 1 mile of rock. That's what we had to dig through. And then once you had made your trench, then you had to then pour sand when you lay it down, and then you lay down the pipe, and then you pour more sand, because once you put the rocks over, you don't want it to penetrate the pipe. And so, but my point is not to say, well, how unbelievable is that? The point is they're willing to do whatever it takes. Can we just raise and help them, and they will do whatever it takes. And so that's where we are right now. So it's not a short-term fix. We're not just asking just to help with food. And by the way, one of those bags of food that T mentioned, 10 kg, 22.2 pounds, is $20. Okay, and that's for a month. It's not just short term. We want to solve it in these villages. Give them water, that they can count on. And so what happens when you bring a well? Then you have drip irrigation. And right there they're planting there. 100 plants. But you can't do that if you don't have a water well, And but they're doing that. And then what happens? Well, I just want to show you, because this is what's happening all around Rome probably now. People have gardens. That's tomatoes right there. But what I'm saying is, you can't do anything else. You can't do anything without water. You've got to have water. And so they talk about poverty in the Caribbean. You know, we lived in the Caribbean, Sherry and I, for almost 10 years. And there was a lot of poverty, but you know, nobody starved because there's always plenty of water. And if you got plenty of water, then you got plenty of mangoes and papaya and whatever else, you know, but not in Africa. And so we're making this happen. But what happens when you bring water? Look at that, and then it just changes the dynamics, you know. So besides all the context, let me see. I think that's it. That was the last one. I don't know how long we have, but we could open up to a question or two. But I do want to say that we've got good works. And I don't want you to think that is the emphasis of our work. It is certainly a great part of our work. But the bottom line still is that they know living water and that they know the bread of life. And they know Jesus Christ. And, when we go now, we are going into villages. We are going into even different countries. But we're going to teach. You know, the good works is done by our brethren on the ground. We might help a little bit, but we want to connect and we want to affect. We want to plant more churches. We have 97 congregations. We've got 3 more that we're going to plant this year because preachers like round numbers. So we're going to go for 100 congregations. Thank you. And so it's going to make, that's our thrust, is to extend the borders of God's kingdom. But when you read the Great Commission is about going, yes, a charge, a challenge, but there is no method. The method is up to us. Wherever we live, it's almost like God is saying, within this particular culture, how can you, I've given you intelligence, how can you connect with your particular culture? So drilling wells around here to plant congregations, that's not going to work, boy. But in Africa, wow, amazing. So anyway, but before I sit down, I just want to thank you all so much for the great help that you continue to give us, and I hope really genuinely that some of you will come sometime and see what's happening on the ground there, because we're truly in a sweet spot. And just know I'm biased. I'm biased because I was born in that beautiful city you saw, Cape Town, South Africa, and I grew up in Africa. So yes, but right now, Southern Africa is very receptive, and I want to thank you for the support and love and encouragement and prayers that you've given throughout the years, because we're not where we are if it wasn't for the steps that you help us take to get there. And so thank you so much. Are we time? We good? Okay, all right. Does anybody want to ask a question? So a well is $6,500, and what that does, it's the driller, and of course all the pipes. It provides a hand pump, and also a drip irrigation kits for them to grow vegetables. Right now there are 5 villages that we have already tested for water, because we don't drill at a village unless the report comes back that it's 90% probable. So we have 5 villages that we want to do, and so. By the way, one has already been done. So we've got 4 more to do. So we just throw it out there, Now let me say something else too. That's what and that's, we've kept that price really good. For another $1,700, you can provide solar. And so there are a few wells when the money has come in that we have provided solar power, because in some villages there's a lot of elderly and arthritis, and even for an older woman to pump, usually they'll get younger people, but they're not always there. And so if you've got solar, then it pulls it up, puts it into a tank, and then they just have a faucet there that they can turn on, and it's proved to be very reliable. So thank you. Oh, sorry.
What kind of Bible study material do you use, or how does some of your studies typically go? I mean, is it like open Bible, and people just come to classes, or you got the Bible?
So we don't have let me say number one, we've got a World Bible School office. Okay, and we have just within Zimbabwe, southern Zimbabwe, we have over 20,000 students. And so some of our Bible studying is Bible studies, like when a container comes in, it'll have textbooks like math and whatever. We will go donate it to a school, and then we will ask the school, it's free, but could you give us an opportunity to share with the students an opportunity to take World Bible School? And I'm telling you, when you start helping a school with their textbooks and other equipment and backpacks and that, it's open. In fact, it's at the point of many high schools now that they will have they'll have the answer sheets ready for us at the office. They've collected it up already. But as far as the preachers are concerned, we've got mature preachers that have their materials on certain subjects, and they come all the time from the States, also from Southern Africa, and though it's the body of that material that these men take to their churches, because it's focused on, well, we need to study on this, we need to study on this. So it's very, oriented towards the growth of the church in Southern Africa. But it's all experienced ministers, most been preaching for maybe 25, 40 years, you know. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Well, actually, that's a really good question. In most of Southern Africa, the young people speak English. But they do speak other languages because they have their mother tongues. And if you go into the village areas where the people I'd say 50s and above, you might have a problem with them speaking English. But in the city, no. Young people. Tristan is coming on board, and his focus is going to be on youth camps, youth conferences, and all those young people, they both speak 2 or 3 languages, but English is one of them. Yeah. Now, they might not say y'all, you know. Sorry? Oh. Asking if we need glasses. Yes, absolutely. Always looking for glasses. Always. I can't tell you the amount of people that have cried in the villages when we've taken a box of glasses and they start going through it. And one preacher put a pair of glasses on his head and just started crying because he hadn't been able to read his Bible in 10 years. No glasses. For us, it's a no-brainer. We go down to Walmart, go get a ready, whatever, you know. And so said, how you been preparing your sermons? He says, my wife has been reading the passages to me. You know, I mean, he had memorized a lot, but he said, you know, that's how I studied. I'd say, I have a scripture in mind or a book. Okay, could you read this to me? You know. So he just started crying. So we gave him an extra pair, by the way. But yes, that's awesome. Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate the questions and appreciate the opportunity given by the elders in the church. God bless.